Today's daily code problem of the day is the kth distinct string in an array, number 2053. For this problem, a distinct string is a string that is present only once in our array. We're also given an array strings, ARR, and an integer k. We want to return the kth distinct string present in the array. If there are fewer than k distinct strings, we're going to return an empty string. So we're going to consider the strings in the order in which they appear in the array, because if we look at input in example 1, k is equal to 2, our ARR has D, B, C, B, C, A. D is the first distinct string. There is no duplicate Ds. However, we're looking for the second distinct string, and the second distinct string would be A. So we want to look at them in the order that they appear in our array from left to right. So D would have been the first distinct string and A would have been the second. In our second example, ARR is equal to A, and A. Our distinct string we want to find is the first distinct string, which happens to be AAA. In our third example, we want to find the third distinct string. Each of these, A and B are B is the only distinct string because A has 2. That means we don't have 3 distinct strings, so we will return an empty string. So for this problem, we are going to take a hash map approach. We are first going to initialize a hash map, fill the map with strings as keys and their count as paired. Then we can go through our array in order and find the kth distinct string. It's as simple as that. So we can start by initializing our map. It's going to be a string integer map, and it's a new hash map. We then want to fill this map, and we can do that by doing for. It's going to be string s in ARR. For each string in ARR, we're going to do map.put s, and then the value is going to be map.get or default s, 0 plus 1. So we're either going to default it at 1 or get whatever it is and add 1 to it. So now we have our map filled. All we have to do is go through this map again. So for string s in ARR, if map.get s is equal to 1, we found a distinct string, so we can subtract 1 from our k value, so k minus minus. Then we can check again. If k is equal to 0, that means we found our kth distinct string and we can return s. Otherwise, we will return an empty string. Looks like our fourth string got messed up right here, so I'll fix that real quick. Had to get rid of the comment, but this is our code. So if we run this, passes our test cases, and if we submit it, passes all of our solutions. So again, we are initializing a map. The map is going to have the string as the key and the amount of times that key appears as the value pair. We'll then go through our array again, and we're going to get each of the strings. If their value is equal to 1, that means they only appear once. We're going to subtract from k. By subtracting from k, we are going to find our kth string. So if we start at 2, we subtract 1, then k is equal to 1, and then we get to a and we subtract 1 again, it's equal to 0. So that means we found our kth string and we can return it. If k is never equal to 0, we don't have a distinct string that fits in our components, so we'll return an empty string. Let's do it in Python. So let's do this in Python. For Python, we're going to use a frequency map, and it's basically the same thing as our hash map. So we're going to initialize it using freq and then these brackets. Then we can increment through our array. So for I in ARR, all we're going to do is freak of I will be equal to freak.get, and this is the get or default, so we're going to get I and default it to 0 or add 1 to the value. We can then, now that we have our frequency map, we can go through array again. So for I in ARR, if freak of I is equal to 1, we can do k minus equals 1. And if k is equal to 0, we can return I. Otherwise, we will return an empty string. So if we run this, passes our test cases, and if we submit it, passes all solutions. Thank you, and follow for more daily LeetCode solutions.